I'd probably be messing about with motorcycles every hour of every day if the responsibilities of real life could be ignored. But for the sake of good health and marital harmony, I must attend to things other than chain adjustment and checking tyre pressures before wearing them out. In real life, when you tell yourself you're on top of it, a tree falls down, the drains back up, or your plumbing springs a leak. Not your personal plumbing, not necessarily. So the motorcycles get neglected. The Villiers 2T-engined Panther 35 ES for electric start has been gathering dust for a year. And when I rolled it on the bench, I was shocked to find I hadn't even washed off the mud since our last outing, months ago. There's always something to do to keep an old motorcycle running sweetly. Basic maintenance first. This lightweight Panther Special has no centre stand, and I guessed at the extra oil needed to overtop the level plug when it was on the side stand. On the bench, with the front wheel secured and a wood block and G-clamp to set the Panther upright, it's clear that I was a little too generous. The solution is simple. Overfilling the chain case with oil can result in clutch slip. The Model 35 ES is still on standard points ignition. There's no kick-start on this 12-volt electric Dynastart Villiers, though some versions did include one. With the rear wheel raised and a high gear selected, we can turn the engine to check the contact breaker gaps. This one still nips the 15 thou feeler gauge when fully open, so I slacken and adjust with a spot of light oil on the felt pad to reduce wear on the cam followers. A reliable electric leg is the Dynastart's party trick. It starts easily on the key, but I'm not happy with that level of sparking at the right hand contact. Even if there's no misfire, the points will suffer eventually. The most likely culprit is a capacitor. These have a limited life, so it's off with the seat to gain access to them, remotely mounted on the control box. My replacements are physically bigger than the originals, but as they bridge the contact breaker points and earth, I can bolt directly to the frame brackets. A test shows immediate improvement. Back in 2008, I was on my way to a POC rally in Hampshire when something in the speedometer screamed, "Let me out." This brief roadside investigation showed that the Smith's magnetic instrument had seized. I disconnected the drive cable and rode on, accurately guessing my speed in built-up areas. Back home, finding the instrument beyond economic repair, I replaced it with a cycle speedometer, but the one I fitted had an annoying tendency to reset itself. Its replacement is not as neat and won't fit within my copy bezel, so I am mounting it on top for now. These liquid crystal display instruments amaze me with their accuracy, recording speeds far in excess of any Olympic pedal cyclist. All you have to do is program them with the precise tyre circumference in millimetres. Put one mark on the tyre and one on the floor, which isn't graffiti if you have permission from an adult. Now roll the bike back until the tyre mark makes a full circuit. Make another mark on the floor and measure the distance between. When the works are done, I have second thoughts about this year's riding and bring the Panther back to attach its carrier. Not so appropriate to a sports machine, but practical for the rally I plan to attend. In May, I take a ride up to North Lincolnshire for a POC monthly meeting, a 172-mile round trip. Back home, I found that my video is corrupt and unreadable. So you'll have to make do with this photo of 3 panthers outside the Dog and Gun. But you can join me on a run with Anglian VMCC, visiting a member's tractor collection. This is not my local group, so we have a 40-mile ride to the start in Worsley. About an hour and 10 minutes on back roads by Model 35. Angie is on hand for our departure. few miles out, I stop for a fuel fill. We'll cover around 175 miles today. I reckon on a comfortable 100 miles to a tank, and I fill my marked bottle to the top before I ride. The contents will add mix-in tank lubrication sufficient for 4.4 gallons at my chosen rate of 32 to 1. At about 52 miles per gallon, with a 2.5 gallon tank full at the start, that gives me a range of around 350 miles before I push to find a suitable source of oil. That's not something many garages hold since two-strokes became bad boys of the internal combustion engine world, beating diesels by more than half a lap. How long before EVs follow? A Siamese exhaust system is probably not the most efficient for these engines, but it wins on style and price. Unless you object to two strokes per se, the 2T has a wonderful singing voice, and it's not that loud. I wear earplugs more against the inlet tract whine. That can drill into a skull on a longer run and keep my ears ringing long after I put the Panther Villiers away in the shed. The cruising Model 35 barely leaves a smoke trail at that concentration. Only when you push to its upper limits does it begin to throw away an increasing percentage of unburnt fuel with each additional mile per hour. I'm a lightweight on this lightweight Panther. Without giving away any secrets, if you add our wet weights, you get 440 pounds, a mere 200 kilograms. On these flat lands, with the rider tucked behind a fly screen, it's a little rocket. I meet a good turnout of riders at Worsley. Seems everyone loves a tractor.
I saw you creeping up behind us. Yeah, I saw you creeping up behind us.
You nipped out. That's your cut through. You just came out in front. Yeah.
I sort of recognised you. I was going to look it up. No, you...
We ride using the drop-off system, with a leader setting the route and the rider immediately behind stopping at a junction to point the way and then tagging on to the tail. What cracking little engines these 2Ts are. The epitome of zip and panache, and blessed with oodles of character. When I use words like oodles, I am aware that some viewers may find my mode of speech rather old-fashioned, which is not surprising given that I learned to talk over 70 years ago. An absolute rule of language is that it's never static, but alive and growing, constantly developing and renewing to survive. Brought up short by the use of a phrase like, "I texted you," meaning I sent you a text, I snort inwardly at the idea of anyone saying, "I lettered you." and realise that I'm fast becoming like that old guy being served in front of me in a shop queue when I was a young whippersnapper, way back last century. "We'll have to order," said the assistant, "but when it's here I'll give you a ring." After a brief pause, her customer asked in rounded tones, "Are you proposing to marry me?" Silly old fart. We parked to walk in awe among Josh's private collection of 38 tractors. "I feel much better about my handful of bikes now," someone says. I missed the cartridge start of the Field Marshal, but the explosion got my attention, and I did arrive in time to witness its 5-litre Panther beating thump. Suitably impressed, we resume our ride to lunch, with a courteous dead engine pause for a horse and rider, the first rather ill at ease with our convoy. At the Silverball Cafe near Royston, Hertfordshire, I bump into Mac and Roger, riding companions from years ago.
Hey!
Hello, Mac. How are you? Hello, Roger.
Oh, I might have known it'd be you, old bloody Panther.
The only two-stroke. Yes.
They're pretty unusual.
Mac has a tale concerning me bump starting a vintage outfit and failing to make the saddle, leaving Angie in the sidecar unaccompanied. Whether you believe it is a matter for your own judgment. Numbers were swelled by a contingent of members from the Essex section. Chatting to one of their number about his rather intimidating V4, Yamaha VMAX, he gestured across to the Model 35. That's funny. I was just watching a YouTube video about one of those yesterday, and I've never seen one like it before. Was it on the Panther Owners Club channel? I asked. Yes. That'll be the one you saw. It was hard to say which one of us was most pleased. The best aspect of these days out is that when the party is over, I still have the ride home to come. Along single carriageway roads, the 250 Villiers Panther is a match for other traffic at legal speeds. My only concern, its slight stature, which, ironically, seems to make us an easier target. This was demonstrated a few years ago, when a van impinged on us at a roundabout. One day I'll tell you about the Model 35's write-off and rebuild. Angie nips out from her greenhouse to catch my ecstatic arrival. That's certainly not it for this season, though. In time, we'll see how this delightful Villiers panther copes with a pillion passenger's weight of camping gear.